Today we're talking about single leg squat. And single leg squat is a great way to teach you how to control your balance. It's also a great way to start developing the ability to get up and down off the ground. And arguably, to a certain depth, it might go past what you need for being explosive in terms of running and jumping. But what it does is it creates an awareness of how to control yourself. The progressions that you're looking for are very simple. You just start on something high if you can't do it, and you find a height that enables you to be able to do it, or you use a counterweight to help you keep your balance. Depends on what the issue is. The easier it gets, the lower this gets, and then eventually, if you like, you can take it all the way down to the ground where you do a pistol squat and your glutes touch your heel. So, way to start. If you have knee pain, then you might reduce the angle at the knee. So I might not go into too much of this. I'm not saying this is bad. In fact, we need this to be able to shock absorb fully and to be able to be explosive and change direction, or even go downstairs. So if I'm going downstairs, my knee has got to go past my toe. But to reduce any pain in the knee or aggravation of an existing injury, a good place to start would be to just have the knees as they are and do more of a hinge through the hips. So as a single leg to begin with, if I use my right leg, I can lean forward and then without any momentum, coming up. Same thing as I come down, I'm sticking my hips backwards, I'm not letting the knee go forward, and then I sit down. If this is no problem for you, you have no knee pain, bring that heel in a little bit closer. Use your calves a little bit to help you get up. Now I can shift, I don't have to sit forward as far because my weight doesn't have to go as far to get over my foot, and it means I don't have to work as hard to keep my balance. And I'm here, and I stand upright and come down. If you find that you actually can't just get up, then you might need to kick your tummy in a little bit. The cue that I like to use is, imagine there's a knife coming in, you're pulling away from that knife, so you're not letting it stab you. And what that's going to do is kick your tummy in, and it'll enable you to then get past that speed bump. So if I lengthen my tummy and do the opposite of that movement, that's very hard for me to get up. If I tuck in a little bit, I can get up. If you find that that doesn't work, maybe you just need to reach out, get some weight forward. So if I reach forward like that, tummy kicks in, and now I'm up. Alternatively, if you find that as you're going down and you're falling backwards, so you come down, you're like, whoa, I can't control myself, my toes flick up, then two options. One is to use a counterweight. So if I use that weight to bring more weight to the front of my body, because I can't control my weight as it goes backwards, you get kind of like a scale evening out. So we're going up, that was never the problem. As you come down, let that weight counter you. So the weight becomes assistive. It means that it helps you. So the progression there would actually be to reduce the weight until you can do it on your own. Eventually you could add the weight as an increasing challenge, but you would keep that much closer to you, because the heavier it is, it'll just throw off the balance the other way. The other option, if you're falling back, is to arch your lower back a little bit more. That's going to kick in some of these lower back muscles, your erectors and your multifidi, and help you control your pelvis as it goes backwards. So as I come down, if my back's rounded, and then I lose my balance. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to round your back, but as part of your pattern, maybe you don't have control in that situation yet. So we start you in somewhere where you do have control. If I arch my back a little bit, and I'm not excessively arching, I'm just not letting it flex. So I'm kind of bringing it so it's somewhat flat or a little bit arched, whatever is sort of normal for what feels for you. And it means I hinge forward a little bit more because my back's arched, and then I sit down and I don't fall backwards. So you got those two options to work with. As it gets easier and you feel like, you kind of can get like 5 reps, no problem, go lower. You'll find that if you keep the reps low and do it frequently, kind of this grease the groove idea from Pavel in Strong First, then you'll be able to develop strength a little bit quicker and also develop a strength through your range a little bit quicker. So eventually you could take away that assistance, and as you squat, use your leg as now a counterbalance. And so you're coming down, and eventually you're down into these positions, and then you come back up. I did a few things there to keep my balance. I've raised my shoulder blades, I kept my leg out nice and straight, required some mobility through my hamstrings. If I wanted to quieten some of that stuff down, use a counterweight. So I'm not keeping it super close to me, I'm holding it a little bit in front as a counterweight, and that makes the movement a hell of a lot easier. And then coming back up. As you're going down from the front, try not to let the knee go too far in or too far out. Just see if you can just follow big toe a little bit. As you go lower, because of the pronation that happens, your knee is gonna track more and more towards the inside. Kind of the same way you see with some power lifters and they drop down and their knees do that a little bit. It's a strategy to absorb shock and then explode out of it. Because we're doing a little bit more of a controlled movement, we don't need as much of that. So, as you come down, we'll get the weight as a counterweight, just so we can go slow and demonstrate for you guys. My knee is going lower, my hip is to the outside of my leg here, and I maintain my balance. I'm down, 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 and then coming up. And at no point did that happen or that happen. You'll notice the lower I go, the more I have to round my back. Some people are going to have a lot of ankle flexibility and they may not have to do that, but some may not. It's more about building comfort into that position. And over time you'll develop more flexibility and awareness as you spend more time there, or as you start to add a higher weight closer to you to increase the challenge. So I'll show you maybe my limit. If I hold that weight very close to my chest, and I try and come down, now I need to work a lot harder to counterbalance myself, and that's probably about as far as I can go. If I take the weight away, I go back to helping myself just so I don't fall over, and I reach out. I can go all the way down and back up. So there's still some control work for me to do. Awesome exercise to build some single leg stability and strength, and to just help you build an awareness of how to keep your balance.